There it is. There's the theme that was in your head since you very first saw that thumbnail. I'll let it play out, let you get it out of your system before I gas on about the history of Inspector Gadget and its Spectrum game. Please don't copyright strike me. Right, that's enough. Inspector Gadget, eh? Never before has such a large amount of money been wasted on turning a completely incompetent policeman into a crime-fighting cyborg. Largely because no one has ever spent any money on turning a completely incompetent policeman into a crime-fighting cyborg. Not in real life anyway. You might count the RoboCop remake if you're being particularly harsh. But I am digressing. Inspector Gadget is utterly useless though. His 9-year-old niece and a Labrador do all of his detective work. How did he manage to score this sweet deal to have like a helicopter in his head? I want a helicopter in my head. It would make the commute to work much easier and everyone would think I was really cool. No one would ever think that. Anyway, Inspector Gadget. Dick Entertainment, a company whose name always elicited at least a mild smirk to my youthful self whenever I saw their name appear on television, were a French animation studio who had a lot of European success, with none the less than things like Ulysses 31 and the mysterious Cities of Gold, which, as we know, are both absolute nostalgia bangers with, similarly to Inspector Gadget, brilliant theme tunes. And now your brain is basically a Spotify playlist of dated cartoon soundtracks, and I'm not even sorry, not one bit. Wanting to expand to the North American market, Dick specifically created Inspector Gadget, the dim-witted, accident-prone detective with various gadgets built into his body. Gadget is sent by his boss, Chief Quimby, a man with a magnetic attraction to explosive paper, on multiple missions to thwart plans by the evil organisation MAD. MAD are run by a sinister swine with a 40-a-day cigarette voice that goes by the name of Dr. Claw, whose face in the series we never get to see, though there is an action figure available, or was available, that shows him to be one handsome dude. Oh, look at those dodgy eyes. The efforts of Inspector Gadget alone are, as previously stated, pretty hopeless. So he is unwittingly followed by early iPad adopter and all-round pigtailed smartass Penny and the family dog Brain, who takes a lot of abuse from both Gadget and Mad's forces. And as such, there is the premise of every Inspector Gadget episode ever made. And lo, it was a repeated formula from its pilot episode in 1982 to its final episode in 1986. And then that formula was brought back in multiple remakes, spin-offs, and really crap films. Now, a few facts here before we get into the game. The pilot of Inspector Gadget featured the inspector with a very fulsome moustache, as you can see here. The reason this was removed was because MGM got the legal hump with Dick for near plagiarising the look of Inspector Clouseau from Pink Panther. And in fairness, there is more than a passing resemblance to Clouseau in the look, the personality, and the general haplessness of Inspector Gadget. Another big inspiration for Gadget was Maxwell Smart from American Bond spoof's TV series Get Smart, a similarly gadget-laden imbecile who just so happens to share the same voice with Gadget, that being actor Don Adams. One thing that I thought was an influence as a child, but wasn't due to Inspector Gadget being made 5 years before it, is RoboCop. However, having seen RoboCop recently, it made me think, how on earth did poor old Inspector Gadget end up getting so mortally wounded? Was it similar to Murphy in RoboCop, who obviously encounters a violent gun gang who blow off his hand and give him fatal injuries, and then he's encased in like a metal iron lung where he can't move, but he has like gadgets hidden on him, like that spike that he puts through Clarence's face. No, he doesn't encounter any gangs that blow him apart. He slipped on a banana skin. Now, how badly do you have to slip on a banana skin to have all your limbs and insides replaced with like gadgets and other mechanical apparatus? That was some slip. But really, what a dickhead. Inspector Gadget and the Circus of Fear was published by Melbourne House in 1987. It was released on all the major 8-bit computer formats of the time. The Spectrum game sees Detective Dimlow here sent to investigate a series of strange disappearances at a recently arrived international circus. You are obviously Inspector Gadget in this game, though I do think there is scope for a really good 2-player co-op game on the modern consoles, where you play as Penny and Brain, and you have to steer Gadget to the end of the level in one piece. You can make it a cross between Krusty Super Funhouse, that would be the Brain part of it, and Lemmings, where you as Penny would operate Inspector Gadget's gadgets for him. That's a good idea, right? There's a reason that 1 minute into talking about the game, I'm already talking about a hypothetically better game than this one, because this one is a bit of a clunker. It doesn't even have the decency to be EastEnders bad either. So you, as Gadget, have to traverse from left to right across the scrolling landscape. I'm not quite sure why there are pyramids in whatever US city Gadget resides in here, but that's by the by. The pathway twists and winds, and you can move up and down along different planes as you guide Gadget along the level, though grass doesn't seem to slow Inspector Gadget down, which actually is pretty realistic, because I walk equally quickly on grass as I do pavement. I don't know about you, I think that's a quite normal thing to do. But in the context of the game, it seems pretty pointless. There are numerous obstacles standing between Gadget and his objective, from guys trying to drag him into their holes, which is quietly horrifying, to sentient smiling paving slabs, which is less quietly horrifying. Also on board the villain train is Horace from Hungry Horace and Horace Goes Skiing, and I'm not quite sure how the current IP holder of Horace will react to seeing his character being a murderous clone, but I would imagine if this game was put out today, Melbourne House would have taken a right old Octavius kittening. Instinctually, you will feel that you should avoid these huge crevices, and I'm not talking about Octavius Kitten anymore, but they actually provide different routes through the landscape, with the aim of each level to find a slab, maybe a trapdoor of some sort, I don't know, it's not clear, to progress to the next level. Gadget is aided in his quest by numerous power-ups that are actually Inspector Gadget's, gadgets. Quite why they're not stored in Gadget's hat or his Mac, as usual, is not explained. And yet, here they are, all left on the pavement. They give you various abilities as seen in the TV show, so you can scoot around on his little shoe skates, you can hop around on springs and fly about with his helicopter hat. They have negligible advantages, in all honesty, and are just part of a rather flimsy all-round production, which is Inspector Gadget and the Circus of Fear. You see, the sound is restricted to a series of blips and blops, the graphics are tawdry, and although the main sprite of Inspector Gadget is easily recognisable, there's none of the familiar Mad Agents or any of the other major characters from the show for most of the game. The gameplay itself is a slowed down Shockwave rider with very slow and stodgy response times on the controls. All in all, it is a poor effort, a sentiment shared not only by me but also by the sole UK magazine reviewer of the time, Sinclair user, whose journo, Graham Taylor, not that one, pointed out that the largely poor graphics combined with uninspiring gameplay to make this one of Melbourne's worst in a while. Graham then duly gave the game a 2 out of 5, and my respect, as he's completely right. Wowzers, Penny! Go, go, Gadget, dustbin! Okay, thanks, bye.
Beak.